Welcome once again to this portion of our service where we speak of Elohim, Eloheinu, who is our God, and to be identified out and to be let known as so many do give reference to their God, and we need to learn how to do those things and what is important and why it is essential for us to do those things. Names identify out specifically who you're relating to and who you're talking to. And many people, although they read the Bible and they do those things there, but they still don't have any focus or knowledge as to who they are talking to and who they have reference with. But the name identifies it out. Not titles, but his name. And of course, we go to the book of Psalm 68:4, which identifies out who our God is. It says, sing to God, sing praises to his name, extol him who rides on the clouds by his name, Yah, which we have presented on our banner of truth that God have given. Much wisdom is found in this banner of truth. And he says here, by his name Yah, and be glad in his presence. One of the other particular ones that tells us in the scriptures there, it says, and put my name upon the children of Israel. So if you are Israel, you should be more mindful of it. Because that is the source and the beginning of your blessing. Now, if you're something else and someone else, then this don't pertain to you. We're talking to Israel and those that want to be a part, those that have been adopted in. You are Israel. See? And there is no split laws. There's no law for. Even though in Judaism, they teach that, which is a fallacy. God said that those that join in and want to be a part, the same law is for all. See? And they are all part of the members. And they are all expected to know his name. His name is to be placed upon them. Not just placed on the Jews one name and then on the rest of the world and something else. No, it's not the way it is. So then put my name upon the children of Israel and I will bless them. There is blessings in having his name and testifying and knowing his name and calling upon his name. The enemy don't want the world to know those things. But he gave us the advantage. Who is this God that we're talking about? Psalm 68:8. We're in the same chapter. 8th verse says, the earthquake and rain poured from the sky at the presence of God. Even Sinai shook at the presence of God. The God of Israel. And if your God is not the God of Israel, and what name did I say what is his name?
Yah.
Yah.
Absolutely.
And he is the God of Israel. Okay. This is where I hear him both. This is where I'm hearing making his claim. So if you don't want to be Israel, then who is your God? What is his name? Many of you don't even know. I know that might sound an insult to some people, but that's true. Well, that's one of the reasons why we don't like you Hebrew Israelites, because y'all make insults and y'all do those things there. Well, have you not ever read in John 4? What the Mashiach said to the woman at the well?
Yes.
When she got to bragging about her mountain and where they worship? That's exactly right. He told her, woman, ye worship, ye know not what. And I'm saying the same thing. If you are not worshiping the God of Israel, if the God of Israel is not your God, then you don't even know what in the world you worship. And especially you going by all these different titles and all these things here, you could be talking about anything and won't nobody know anything about it. But names identify out who we're talking about. After you've learned his name, that's just the beginning. We have need of understanding his character. Isaiah 43, 10 through 12, quickly, here, tells us what God needs us and what he wants us for. And if you can't fit that reason, then you don't qualify. See? So you need to get upset from anyone else and saying, hey, he wants to set the rules, not me. He says here, you are my witnesses, Adonai, and my servants whom I have chosen, so that you can know and trust me and understand that I am he. Not I am they, not I am them, but I am he. What do you mean by that? No God was produced before me, nor will any be after me. That's what it means by it. If you have something that has never been done before, and after you did it, you broke the mold and there was not going to be anything done after that, that says that that's the only one. And that's what he's saying. He says, I am Adonai, the owner. Besides me, there is no deliverer. I have declared, said, and proclaimed, not some alien God among you. The enemy is the one that wants to have alien gods among us. Therefore, you are my witnesses, Adonai. I am God. Singular. I am he. Isaiah 44, 6 to 8. Thus saith Adonai, Israel's king. Notice all the attention and notice all the things is set and allocated out to Israel. Why? He says here, and Redeemer, Adonai Zebaoth. I am the first, and I am the last. Besides me, there is no God. Now, he made that statement, not me. And he asked me to be a servant of his, to be a witness of him. I have to believe him. Who are you believing on? See? If you don't follow his words and you don't do what he asked and don't believe what he said, you're not following him. He says, who is like me? Let him speak out. Let him show me clearly what has been happening since I set up the eternal people. Let him foretell future signs and events. Don't be frightened. Don't be afraid. Didn't I tell you this long ago? I foretold it and you are my witnesses. Is there any God besides me? Israel, is there any God besides our God?
No. I know not any.
Israel, is there any God besides our God?
No. I know not any.
He says, is there any God besides me? He said, there is no other rock. I know of none. And if he don't know of any, what in the world am I doing saying that there is another God? That would be blasphemous. That would be against him. And certainly, dear folks, I don't want you to be against Yah, because all those that's against him will be destroyed. But of course, we have to deal in the Christian era, and I want to kind of add a little bit more on to what we have been talking about here concerning it, because there have been so many different teachings and so many different doctrines that have been taught concerning in Christianity, which is one of the reasons why I I'm not a Christian. I don't care that much for Christianity because of the fact that these things are interwoven with too many lies. See? They have their Jesus, and they have made him a God. And they claim that they do those things from what he says. But they don't pay attention to really what he teaches. Okay? We're going to go and take up this in the 10th chapter of John. And we're going to end in on this conversation here and see if we can figure out just a little bit of what's going on here. This is John the 10th chapter, starting at the 11th verse. I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd laid down his life for the sheep. Now, may I dare say this, but God can't say that. Our God cannot say that. What you mean he can't say that? Why can't he say that? Because he cannot die. He cannot die. See? I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd laid down his life for the sheep. The hired man, since he isn't a shepherd, and the sheep are his, sees the wolf coming, abandons the sheep, and runs away. Then the wolf drags them off and scatters them. The hired worker behaves like this because that's all he is a hired worker. So it doesn't matter to him what happens to the sheep. I am the good shepherd. I know my own, and my own knows me. Just as the Father knows me, and I know the Father. They are separate entities. You can't talk in this realm here and you're not talking about separate entities. See? And I lay down my life on behalf of the sheep. Also, I have other sheep which are not from this pen. I need to bring them, and they will hear my voice, and there will be one flock and one shepherd. Not a whole multitude of flocks. One over here, one over there. This is for the Jews, and this is for the Christians, and this is for the this, and this is for the all. No. And the flock of God is Israel. And if you don't want to be a part of his flock and enter into his pen and go by his commandments, go by his rules and regulations, then you're outside. Out of the pen, out of the protection, and the wolves and the destroyer comes and destroy you. This is why the Father loves me. Because I lay down my life. Notice this. He is constantly talking about laying down his life. God cannot die.
So he wasn't fully God, fully man.
Oh, that is the most ridiculous thing. But Christianity, that's the highest thing in them. Oh, something big, heavy, but magnificent thing. Jesus was fully God and fully man. 100% man and 100% God. An impossibility. Stupidity, that's what that is. If he was fully God means that he had all the powers of God. That's right. Then how in the world he can sit up here and say, I'm going to lay down my life for you? That's right. That would be a contradiction. But of course, people don't think in that realm. They don't think about those things. See? He says here, this is why the Father loves me, because I lay down my life in order to take it up again. No one takes it from me. On the contrary, I lay it down of my own free will. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it up. And now, let me tell you something. Christians stop right there. And they say, this is why we tell you that he is fully God. Only God has power to lay down his life and take it up. Well, I'm here to tell you that God cannot lay down his life. God cannot die. So their own definition is an accepted definition that somebody ain't thought through all together, and they just go along and believe whatever you say. And they run around, oh yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, that's right. That's why he is God. Because he had the power to lay his life down and take it back up. Yes.
The spirit can't do that. We're told that God is a spirit.
Of course.
He's not a man that he should not argue.
Only his son is in his image.
Therefore, we find that God can't do those things, but yet still they want to attribute him to being fully God. And that even makes it more ridiculous. See? Now, but here's what the part they forget. They forget that other little part of that scripture. He said, why did he have the power to do it? See, they said, because he was God. Only God had that kind of power. But no, that ain't what he said. And that's why I say in Christianity, they don't follow what he says. They don't follow their holy scriptures. They just go off on some tangent out there, some spirit that took them over and go them up, and they moving by the spirit and contradicting the word. Notice this last part. He says, I have power to take it up again. I have power to lay it down, and I have power to take it up again. This is what my Father commanded me to do. That's where he got the power from. His Father gave it to him. He would not have had the power if his Father hadn't given it to him. It wasn't some inherent power that he had on his own. Yes.
Could he raise himself up? Who raised him up from the grave?
The scriptures plainly says that it was the Father that raised him up. Another contradiction. He said, I have power to him. Then they say, go on, and then they say he raised himself up again. That's ridiculous.
Well, the next statement claims that.
See?
This is what my Father commanded me to do.
Yes. You read in the King James, it says his Father gave him the power or authority to be able to do those things. That's how he's able to do it.
Right.
Not some inherent power of his own. But let us go on further in this. John 10, the same, and go down to the 31st verse, because these are controversial subjects here. It says, once again, the Judeans picked up rocks in order to stone him. Yeshua answered them, you have seen me do many good deeds that reflects the Father's power. He didn't say it reflects my power. Now, if he was fully God, he could have said my power. But he didn't. He says, my Father. For which of these deeds are you stoning me? That's what he asked him. Why you get ready to stone me? The Judeans replied, we are not stoning you for a good deed, but for blasphemy. Because you, who are only a man, are making yourself out to be God. Now, that's what they were saying. Now, I want to kind of step in here in just a minute here. If they really thought that he was God, fully God, as the Christians come along and say, what in the world are they doing picking up stones? What in the world does a stone go to a fully God? That's ridiculous. How you going? If they really believe like the Christian believe, they didn't believe like the Christian. The people want you to believe that they believe like that, but they didn't. What they thought about him was that whenever you said that they thought that you was making yourself to be God, that meant that you never made a mistake and all those things, and you would put yourself up equal with God. But they never had an idea that you was 100% God and got all omniscient, omnipowerful, got all divine, as one would say. No, they never had that idea. If they did, they wouldn't have not picked up a stone. How you gonna kill divinity?
Right. Thank you.
And stones at that. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous what we're reaching grab for.
That was a good opportunity for Yeshua to say, yes, I am God.
That's right. But he didn't say that. No, as a matter of fact, we want to see what he did say. See? Yeshua answered them, isn't it written in your Torah? Isn't it written in the Tanakh? I say, you people are Elohim. Y'all want to get all jumped up, get all excited, get all disturbed about me being God. In the Tanakh, in the scriptures, it said that you are gods. What about that? That's what he was saying to him. If he called Elohim the people to whom the word of Elohim was addressed to, if he called you people Elohim, and the Tanakh cannot be broken, and the scriptures cannot be broken, the scriptures got to be right, the scriptures are not lying. Now notice what he says. Notice the comparison he says here. If he called Elohim the people to whom the word of Elohim was addressed, and the Tanakh cannot be broken, then are you telling the one whom the Father set apart as holy? Are you going to tell me, who has been set apart specially, I've been sanctified, been set apart as holy, and sent into the world? Remember last week when I was talking to you, and I was telling you that the biggest thing that the Son of God, that the Mashiach wanted us to understand, was not the fact that he's God, but that he was sent. We have done some series before this, establishing that point. And once again, we see him reiterating this again. He said, you are telling me the one whom the Father set apart and sent into the world, you are committing blasphemy because I say I am a son of Elohim? What's wrong with you? I dare you. Many people come here and they'll ask me, what do you say about it? What? I say what he said. And what did he say? He said, he is a son of God. He is the Son of God.
He said no more than the word.
And he said no more than that. And that's sufficient. He gave me the answer. And anything further than that there leads into corruption. Leaves an opportunity for the enemy to take advantage, in which he did. See? He told him, if I am not doing deeds that reflect my Father's power, don't trust me. Once again, he pointed to the Father. See? Now, what was all these things about? What is all this to establish here? We go to John 20. And it's kind of ironic that people take this particular book to establish and to show forth that he is God. which is another subject we're going to talk about. But I want to go into this in here. This is a disclaimer by the author of this book. And that's John 20. You know what a disclaimer is. You know, you get that on all, you go buy your weed eater or something, they got a disclaimer in there. And they tell you that if you don't use this properly and everything here, you take off the guard, and you don't use it properly as they done told you and everything there, and you start that thing up there, you cut off, or you got to go get your chainsaw, and you don't do it properly, and you cut off your leg or something. Don't come crying to me, and don't come hollering to us, coming and trying to sue us. We got a disclaimer in there. If you use this thing properly, you won't have to worry about that. But if you use it improperly, you could be in grave danger. That's what a disclaimer is. And this is what we find in the book of John here, the 20th chapter and the 30th verse. In the presence of the disciples, Yeshua performed many other miracles which have not been recorded in this book. But these which have been recorded, this wasn't no accident. The things that were put in the book of John was no accident. There was a purpose for him being put in there. There was an end result of what it was done, and they were selected because there was many of them that they could have brought in, but they chose these to put in there to form this particular book, and it all streamlined down to a particular purpose, and we want to get that, make sure we get that. But these which have been recorded are here so that you may trust that Yeshua is the Mashiach, or Messiah, the Son of God, not God. So if you won't take the book of John and try to prove any other thing other than that, it's just like taking a chainsaw and using it wrongly. And you start to cut off your arm or your leg or anything. And that's exactly what they do. They cut off their nose and spike their face because of the fact that they're not using the book of John properly. Once again, he says here that these which have been recorded are here so that you may trust that Yeshua is the Messiah, the Son of God, and by this trust you may have life because of who he is. Therefore, we ain't got to believe that he's God himself, 100% God to be saved. Don't let nobody lie to you and tell you that. We got to believe what the word says. Nowhere in the book do it tell you that you got to believe that he's 100% God and 100% man. It ain't in there. This is a clever devised lie of the enemy. But he says that if you believe that he's the Son of God, and by this trust you may have life because of who he is. Therefore, who's going to believe on him? See, let's believe on him. Go to John 10, the 29th verse right quick. John 10, 29. And this is why he spoke so much of the Father. My Father, who gave them to me, is greater than all. And that included him. Now the Trinity teaches that's impossible. But he says that my Father is greater than all. And that included him. Dear folks, in closing for today, don't misuse the book in a way that's improper. Don't misalign. I mean, that's why the disclaimer is in there. In that same book of John, he tells you in John 14:28 that my Father is greater than him. He tells us that. You know, why would you believe a lie about the Trinity which says no? That Jesus, God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, all three on the same level. He says not so. He says the Father's above and he's greater than all. And everything else and everyone else comes under him. That is the true factor of the Mashiach, the Messiah of the house of Israel. Now this other thing with who they've got in there, it has nothing to do with Israel. We'll see you later. We have more to talk and discuss and concerning those things that we just talked about earlier. Thank you for your time.